Well, from the streets of Los Angeles as a teenage runway to the catwalks of Paris, Lorelei Shellist has lived a life of gritty extremes. The model actress also found love with doomed rocker Steve Clark of Def Leppard. Her new book, called Runway, Runaway, is really kind of a backstage past of fashion, romance, and rock and roll from some of the biggest names in the biz. And Lorelei is here in our studio this morning with us in San Diego the day after Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, this is just so much fun to look through, this book, and there's some amazing pictures. What inspired you to write this?
I was inspired by a Def Leppard fan, a die-hard Def Leppard fan who rode me like the wind until I finally agreed to do it. And originally the story was to be about Steve only. And then when I shopped the book in New York with the literary agents, they said, Lorelei, this is your story. Go home and write me your story. And I thought, oh my God, who's going to want to read a book about me? And eventually, as my friend said, go for it, Lorelei, I started writing, and my fingers took over, and the story's all there.
It's 300 pages. It has amazing pictures that we were just talking about in the green room, where really you feel like you're looking through someone's personal photo album, only these are very familiar faces.
Yes, my photo album, also my diary journal entries are in there.
So you kept everything. That was a good thing.
I kept everything. I documented everything. Since I was 14, I started writing diaries.
Now, you self-published this book, and it's getting some international acclaim. You're hearing back some really positive things from all over the world.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We self-published a book. We figured we have the internet now. Let's use it. I had the Def Leppard fans helping me, too, because they're just all over it. They create tribute sites, everything. They know how to do it. So we said, well, let's explore this. And I'm getting orders from Japan, from Germany, from England, from Italy. You know, it's been really exciting. And I have letters, and we write to each other, and I'm getting to know these people.
So to give people kind of an idea of what it's about, I was reading it's kind of rock and roll, fashion, it's a travelogue, it's all of those things in one.
Yes, you get to go with me around the world on my adventures. From the age of 15 when I ran away until, you know, all through the Hollywood 70s, Southern California rock scene when I was dating Don Henley. And then from there I moved to New York, and I go to Eileen Ford, and she invites me to come, but then when I get there she can't remember who I am. and I'm, you know, it's like, you know.
Boy, you have to have thick skin.
Yeah, you do, and you learn how to have thick skin, which is one of the reasons why I wrote the book, to sort of raise the consciousness of people who want to be models and rock stars to what really is going on out there, so that they're prepared for it.
Right, and now one of the really interesting parts about it is your relationship to Steve Clark, the guitarist of Def Leppard, and you were engaged to be married at the time that he passed away.
Yes. Well, at the time that he passed away, I had finally sort of let go, because I had been trying to hold him up for a couple of years there, and I started learning through the 12-step program and going in and out of treatment center with him what my role in that was, and eventually I left him at an AA meeting. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
And you called him the love of your life.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. And so what would you like people to know about him at this point and from the book?
That he was just too fragile for this world, that he was really talented, really sensitive, really funny, but I believe that he had, you know, maybe a chemical imbalance like a manic depression or a bipolar, and he was self-medicating. And I think a lot of people that we know and love are self-medicating, and I think it's important not to judge them for it, but to try to be compassionate and understand what they're going through. You know, and
you were talking about not just in modeling, but also when you're in a band, how lonely it can be on the road. You know, so that's sort of a theme in that.
Well, you know, it's really exciting when you have all these people watching you, but as soon as you walk away from that, there's the adrenaline rush, there's a letdown there. And then you go back to your room, and you're not with the people that you know and love.
Now, I want to show one of these pictures, because, again, this just gives you an idea. I was flipping through, and I thought, oh my gosh, look at all these familiar faces. So I don't know if I can hold this up for you, and if you can kind of explain this picture, because
this picture was taken backstage in Vancouver at a Def Leppard show, and we have the Bon Jovi boys in the picture. So we have Steve Clark, and we have David Bryan from Bon Jovi, and Sav, and Phil Collin, and Richie Sambora, and this is Paul Dean from Loverboy, and John Bon Jovi, Joe Elliott, and this is Bob Rock, who happened to be producing Bon Jovi at the time in Vancouver, and that's why they were all in the same room.
Right, I mean, it really is amazing, so you have to just check out this book. Now, you can get this book online, is that right? And again, it's called Runway, Runaway, a backstage past of fashion, romance, and rock and roll. Looks really interesting. And also, you're going to be at Cain's at a book signing this Sunday.
I will be reading excerpts from my book.
Beach.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be reading in the cantina at 6 o'clock and signing books. And yes, and a lot of the portions of the book sales go towards my music scholarship, which is
at college.
Yes.
That's a great local tie because your parents are musicians.
Yes.
Okay, that is so great. Now we're going to have a lot of the other information on our website, but it was so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
I look forward to reading it in its entirety.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
So remember, san diego6.com for all the information on the appearance and where you can get this book. Click on Hot Topics.